it going, guys? Kirito here. Now, as you guys see from the thumbnail and the title of the video, you guys know that this is a very different video than what I usually bring out. We all know what's going on in the States, you know, the protests and the death of George Floyd, may he rest in peace. So, personally, I just felt like I had to say something about this whole issue. I just had to get things off my chest, you know. If you follow me on Twitter, I post some things, I share some videos, but I just had so much more to say. I know some people might not like what I'm about to talk about. I might lose subscribers, I might lose followers, but I don't really care. This is something that I just felt like I had to bring out to you guys. So I'm half Romanian, half Nigerian. You know, Romania is in Eastern Europe and Nigeria is in Africa. So basically, I lived, since I was born, I lived 14 years, the first 14 years of my life, I lived them in Romania. And I too have been a victim to racial profiling and racism back there. Not with police officers, but with people in general. You know, as a kid, I didn't really understand what racism was. You know, nobody really does when you're a kid. You don't really understand these things. But as you start to grow up and mature more, you start to understand some of these things, you know. And I think the very first, the moment that I actually understood how racism actually works and how it all comes down was when, I think it was back in 4th grade. There was this girl in our school. It wasn't exactly normal. I'm not saying that in a bad way, but yeah, everyone was friends with this girl. Everybody knew her, everybody treated her nicely. But then one day, I saw her coming to school with her grandmother, and they came to my class and started talking to my teacher. You know, it was at the end of lunch break. And next thing I know, they called me up to the front and accused me of bullying the girl. And I was like, why would I even do that? There's no reason for me to bully her, you know? I never even spoke to her in the first place. Of course, we sometimes greet each other, but I never spoke to her. And yeah, the worst thing was not just because I was accused, but they didn't even give me a chance to defend myself. And some of my so-called friends even turned against me and were like, yes, he bullied her. Like, seriously, is this how people actually are? So next thing I know, I'm suspended for a few days, like 1 or 2 days. And starting from then, I started to realize that a lot of people are really racist, you know. I started getting kicked out of class more often. I used to get yelled at a lot. Like, sometimes I wouldn't even do anything. There would be some other kids making noise in class, and I'll be the one getting yelled at, you know. That kind of stuff. And it's these kind of small things that you start noticing, you know. It doesn't really, it's not on a huge scale like what's been going on between the police and the black people in America, but it's still something. And my point is that racism and racial profiling isn't just between adults. It happens in schools as well. It happens in playgrounds. It happens with kids. So these things, you know. Another time I started seeing these things happen was when I used to go out with my mom and my younger sister. You know, my mom is from Nigeria, and I started to see people's behaviors towards us. You know, some parents would pull their children away and be like, stay away from them because they're dangerous and stuff like that, and it hurts. You know, these kinds of things, they hurt, because, like, why would you think we're dangerous? We don't do anything. We never did anything to you people. Why is it that when you see us, you say that the first thing that comes to your mind is like, oh, they're criminals, they're this, they're that? Why is it that when you look at us, why don't you say, oh, here's another human being just like me? You know, it always bothered me back then, and even now it bothers me. I think, if I remember correctly, there was a time when I was in kindergarten back then I didn't realize this at all, but there was a time we were supposed to put on a school play. It was something that had to do with animals, and the teacher came in one day with a huge picture book, and she was like, okay, we're gonna start choosing which animal each person is gonna be. It was like, okay, you're the lion, you're the elephant, you're the tiger, you're this one, you're that one. By the time they reached the monkey, everyone just looked at me, teacher and kids included. Everyone looked at me. It was like, you're gonna be the monkey. Back then I didn't really care. I just loved being part of the play. But then now if I think about it, that was very racist, okay? And it's kind of, how should I put it, it's really sad to see. Now that I realize, it's really sad to see that these things happened since I was a little kid, since I was like 3 or 4 years old, because I think that's how old I was when I got chosen to be the monkey in the school play. And be like, if kids from that age get treated like this, then what more of us now? Like, how should I put it? Everything starts from somewhere, you know? For me, I started getting bullied and treated badly since I was a little kid, since I was 3 or 4 years old, and it just kept escalating more and more as you keep growing older. People will be calling us names and insulting us just because of the way we looked. Not that we did anything in return or we did anything to make them treat us like that, but these things, they're just, I don't even know what to say anymore. It's just so, it saddens me to see these things happen, you know. Back in Eastern Europe, there's this group of people called the gypsies. Now, not all gypsies are bad. Yeah, not all of them are bad. I have a lot of gypsy friends that are amazing people. But when someone calls you a gypsy, even as a joke, it's meant as an insult. Because most of them are bad people. Most of them are, yeah, they're pretty bad. So, but when people usually call me, my sister, or my mom gypsies, that's an even bigger insult, because they say it in a racist way. That's how they usually say it. It's like, get these gypsies out of here, or you gypsies go back to your own country, stuff like that. It hurts, you know. And the main thing I want to say is that we shouldn't react to these kind of things with violence, you know, because I've seen some things, you know, some people in these protests, some of them actually do react with violence against the police, which shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen, you know. Speaking of experience, violence is not the answer. You shouldn't answer to these things with violence, because I know I have reacted with violence in the past, and it just makes it worse. Because when you let's say, as an example, when you, a person of color, react with violence, they would start looking at you and the whole black community as being exactly the same. Oh, you see, they're violent. I told you, they're all the same. They're all the same. You know, and that's the bad thing about it. So we should try as much as we can, especially like if you're in the States and you're part of these protests, try as much as you can to keep it peaceful. I know that, and I've seen some videos that the police officers, they don't, even though you're peaceful, they still treat you badly. I've seen it, and it still saddens me. But right now, we shouldn't, like I said, we shouldn't react with violence. Just be peaceful about it. I know I've seen a lot of people suffer. I've seen a lot of people get injured or arrested or even killed because of this, because of what's going on. There's so many bad people in the police force, if I should say, so many. And it has gotten to a point that people are being racist for no good reason at all. I've seen a video where 2 black men, they just wanted to go home. They were getting in their car and just going home, and one white woman just jumps in front of their car and then starts saying that they're trespassing, where it's actually a public area, yeah, that doesn't belong to her or anything, and she starts calling for help or stuff like that. And they don't even do anything to her, you know. 2 other people come in and they just put themselves in between the car and the lady so that the car can, so that the guys can drive away. But the lady jumps in front of the car again and then starts saying that, oh, they're trying to run her over. I'm like, what is wrong with people these days? It has gotten to a point where people are being racist for no reason at all. There's no point for you being there. Nothing is going on. Those are two peaceful people trying to get home, and you're just being racist. You're profiling them for no reason at all. They haven't done anything to you. They have not done anything to disrupt the peace. They're just two normal human beings. It has gotten to a point where racism, people don't even care if there's a reason to being racist or not. Even saying that there is never a good reason for being racist. You understand me? But this lady, and it's not just her, so many people are just being racist for the sake of being racist. That's what sickens me. Police officers are attacking people where they're peaceful. There are people that don't do anything, they're protesting peacefully, but they're getting shot at with rubber bullets, and that's what pains me. And it's so sad to see these kind of things happen. I mean, why would you do such a thing to another person? I mean, they're not animals, they're not aliens, they're not robots, they're human beings just like you. Is it just because of the way we look that makes you look at us differently? It's so sickening, I mean, what kind of sick person would shoot an innocent person, would beat an innocent person, would throw tear gas or pepper spray in people's faces for no reason at all? They're not animals. They're people. They're human beings just like you. That's the thing that hurts. That's the thing that pains me. And it's not just me. There's so many people facing these kind of issues in this world. There's so many. I'm grateful to countries that are also rising up for this issue, like Canada, Syria, France, Iran. They're also raising up. They're protesting for equality. That's what we need in this world. We need for everyone to look at other people as people, not as animals. We're not animals, we're people. Don't look at us as a different race, because we're all from the same race. We're all from the human race. So my message to the world right now is for everyone to be together. It's for everyone to put aside their racial difference. It's for everyone to tear down that wall that is dividing people by race. Yeah, we should tear that down. And I want people to understand that not all, like people in the States especially, not all police officers are bad. Not all of them are bad. I've seen videos with bad police officers, but I've seen videos with good police officers as well. There are people that actually want to help. You understand? So my point is, it doesn't matter if you're Asian, it doesn't matter if you're Arab or black or white. It doesn't matter, because we're all human beings. We're all part of the same race. We all have one planet. Just remember this, we only have one planet, nowhere else to go. So we need to put our racial differences aside, and we need to start living together peacefully. Stop looking at other people as a different species or something else entirely. Yeah, we're all humans, and we have to start treating each other accordingly. Thank you guys for watching, and remember, we all matter. Yeah, but at this point, we all have to stick together. Yeah, love you guys. Peace out.